Run
And
it.
we're live.
Run it. Run it. May 29th slate, Friday. 12 games? We got
12 games.
12?
Yeah, 12. The
That's
big
it's another big Friday takedown. I think it's gonna happen. Tomorrow's slate is and we're obviously jumping a little bit earlier. Today, obviously Thursday is usually kind of the down day for baseball. There's smaller things. So I really want to focus on this big slate because that's where all the juice is going to come from. But it's a tough slate. I don't know if you looked at it at all, but there's not a lot of there's not a lot of good pitching spots. I mean, Zach Wheeler's on the slate, but he's against the Dodgers, and we'll get to that
yeah.
game. But there's just not a lot going on as far as pitching goes. So you're going to really have to make some tough choices on this slate. And I think there's a lot of great offensive spots. Obviously, we have a Coors game. I'm interested, right? You got it. You can't not be interested. Lorenzen on the bump there, and I think Logan Webb's pitching for the Giants. But yeah, I think let's focus on we'll go game by game as we usually do, and then we'll jump back and forth to who we like and who we don't. But you wanna follow the game by game and
we'll follow the game by game. Yeah, it's interesting because I don't love like most of the pitching. I think pitching is really weak, which is interesting because it's like means like pretty much 24 teams are in play. I mean, maybe let's say 22 teams probably. Maybe you don't want to play against Wheeler, but Wheeler's against the Dodgers. So it's just like I think there's like legitimately 24 offenses in play on this slate. And on a 12 gamer, man, you don't have to get the offense right, but the team you stack has to hit because like there will be offenses that score runs. So like I think it's not. Yeah, you can't be too contrarian because by dint of there being so many teams, the ownership will be lower. So don't play a team that is going to score 2 to 3 runs. I know that's easier said than done, but try to avoid those spots just because it's easy to get slates like this wrong. Again, high scoring slates. It could be a low scoring slate. Who knows? But like with all the kind of the subpar pitching, it just feels like the slate's gonna be pretty high scoring. You don't want your offense.
You usually see that high scoring slates, these bigger slates, right? I think the only reason we might not see it as much, you're not gonna get 200s, is my guess. It's just because of the pitching. There's not a wealth of pitching options, right? I said Wheeler's your pay up, but he's against the Dodgers. I don't even know how advantageous that is to play. But you want to start game by game, and then we'll go back and forth.
Yeah. So, do you want me to do it on my side, or you have baseball Savannah, but I can go.
Let me actually just.
I'll go game by game, and then we can. So the first game we have Toronto going to Baltimore. We got Rogers, who I like from a best ball standpoint. He hasn't been great this season, to be honest. He's been bad, honestly. And then Vault coming back. I don't know if Vault is going to be an opener. I think he's maybe be just like, I don't know if he's going to go deep into the game for Toronto. Do you know much about Vault, Austin Vault?
No, not special.
39 pitches in his first start, so maybe he's more of like a relief.
Yeah, it's just going to be a bullpen game. Is what it looks like. We might not even see him tomorrow, right? We might see. I know we have Rogers for the Orioles, but you never really know. Sometimes these openers get pushed, right? We had Taj on the mound today, and he got pushed. But so I just TBD on that, right?
Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's like I like Camden's been a hitter's ballpark this season, and why I like Rogers, man, I could totally play Toronto here. Rogers just hasn't been very good. I lean more towards the Baltimore side, and we just saw them put up a big. I think they put like 11 runs against Tampa last night, and I had them. I just didn't have the right other pieces there. I like this game from an offensive standpoint. I guess like maybe the A side would be Toronto potentially just on the road. Rogers hasn't been good. I mean, a believer in Rogers, but that doesn't mean like you can't play him. I mean, you can't play against them here. I'm not interested in either pitcher. I think Toronto is like firmly in play on the road in good ballpark, and they have the fantasy friendly bats that you want. So I think 3 to 5 man stack for Toronto. I would throw Springer, Vlad Guerrero. I do like Okamoto.
Mr. Single himself. I mean, he's got like 4 home runs. It's nuts.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like a swing issue, I think, as well. But he's hitting the ball well, so it's like I think continue to play him. It'd probably end up being more of a 3-man stack. Like when I just look up, I don't love the rest of the guys in the lineup, but maybe like a Varsho, Vlad, and Okamoto would be kind of my preferred way to go. What about you?
Yeah, I like Rogers. I think Rogers is going to be better than he's been. Although the underlying suggests that he's been horrible, right? What we saw last year, I think he is a quality pitcher. And because of that, I'm not gonna play against him. And I understand that Camden's a good park, and all these things, but I just don't know if I can trust that he's going to get shelled again and again and again, or he's just not going to be a starting pitcher, right? I think he's going to figure something out. I do like generally the Blue Jays against lefties. I mean, against righties better than lefties, and that's just more of a feel thing for me. I like guys like Varsho in the lineup. I think they project obviously better against righties than lefties there. But so for me, it's just going to be X off. Confidence that you need someone from this game, maybe a 2 or a 3 out of 10. So for me, it's just going to be 12 games. I'm picking games to pass, play, and this is going to be one of the games I pass on.
Yeah. Well,
in that same breath, you just can't play Rodgers. You can't play pitchers in the spot, right? There's no confidence. You could absolutely go back to Baltimore. We know Baltimore has these games. They're Jekyll and Hyde. They're 0 or 12. 0 or 12. It's like they never put up these average run totals. It's nothing or a lot. So I totally understand if you want to go there. But for me, it's just going to be a pass.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. So for me,
I'll go to the next game. So I see a TBD on pitcher for Boston against Cleveland. I see Slate Ciccone on the mound for Cleveland. Do you got anyone on the bump for Boston? I think it's probably going to be lined up to be Bayo. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's Bayo.
Yeah, so that being said, Bayo's been absolutely horrible. Slate Ciccone's underlyings are just bad too. I love picking on Slate Ciccone. He's okay. He's not special. I think Boston only has a few bats you're scared of, right? So like I have a soft spot in my heart for Durant because he's been absolutely raking for me. But I just don't know if this is going to be a priority spend, right? We're looking at the high dollar. I think we have an 888 tomorrow, right? And we have the 121s I always do. So I just don't know how much of a priority this game is going to be. If you ask me to pick a side as far as bats go, it's going to be Boston on the road against Slate Ciccone. I think they're going to be a little bit lower on. People know Bayo's been bad. They're going to play Cleveland. Cleveland is a professional lineup up and down the lineup. Travis Bazzana is a monster.
He's a beast.
I mean, he's a very fun bat. So do not leave him off a Guardian stack. He brings all the upside. I mean, he's really picked up the slight Jose's been letting down. So for me, it's really going to be Red Sox's contrarian pieces. But in confidence, you needed this game, maybe a 4 because both pitchers have been pretty horrible. Just not going to be. It's going to be another pass play, another pass for me. Just as far as focused attention. Yeah,
that's a good point. I think, no pitchers here. It's a pitcher avoid spot 100%. But I am somewhat interested in the Boston bats here on the road against Cleveland. I think Bayo's better than he's been. So I'm not going to play Cleveland here, but I think Boston on the road in Cleveland is interesting. Duran's obviously heating up, and you have interesting bats. Like Rafael is not a great real life batter, but he's actually decent from a fantasy perspective because he can hit and steal. You have Contrast who has elite power. The concern is I want to see the weather. Is it cold? Like, what does the weather look like in Cleveland tomorrow? Because it does lean towards Pitchers Park. So yeah, Boston's in play. I don't know I don't think they'll make a 5-man, but they will be a lower owned team, and so there is interest because they'll be a lower owned team, maybe in the middle of the pack from a DFS perspective. So.
There's 12 games, right? And if you've heard me say this before, I focus my attention, so I have to pass some games, and I can't play them all. Yeah. So I totally get that. That leads me to another game that just might be a pass. We have the Angels versus the Rays in Tampa. I think Walbert Arena's on the mound versus Nick Martinez. 2 pitchers that have been. I mean, Walbert Arena's in play, but Tampa's been such a menace on offense. I just don't know if he can play Walbert in the spot. And then Nick Martinez is serviceable in his own right. Just doesn't strike enough guys out for me. So I don't know if I can play him in DFS, but it just leads to another potential just pass spot for me. So totally understand if you want to play out of these pitchers. But from a bat standpoint, it's just going to be a pass in a pitcher's park. No, thank you. Easy pass as 1 on the game you need to have at a confidence rating. Definitely a 1. I don't think either pitcher does enough to have provide a necessity to your squad. But for me, I'm not seeing anything on either side I really want to focus on. Like I said, Walbert Arena's underlying suggests he's good. He's got an okay strikeout rate, a pretty high walk rate at 13% too. So I just don't know if I can totally buy in there when the Rays have been so pesky. So.
Yeah. I mean, so we're a little different here. I don't like offenses in this game. I think Nick Martinez is a ground ball guy. He's not a guy that looks to get blown up. Even if he does get hit around, it's not generally like an 8-run game. I like Walbert Arena a lot. He's going to be a high priority pitcher for me at 7-4. The strikeout stuff's improved. Tampa is not a scary lineup. So I think obviously there's concern, right? You have to be somewhat concerned with the play there, but just given that how good Tampa is, but I do like Walbert. I think 7-4 is a good price as an SB2. Like I said, pitching's weak. I think he's probably gonna be like a top 2, top 3 pitch on the slate for me. I know that maybe Contrarian. Okay, that's what we've seen. I think his last 5 starts have been good, maybe 15 plus DK points in his last 5. So it's Tampa, the offense is pesky, but like not so scary. I don't know. I'm leaning towards
They're like
Robert.
a top 5 team in baseball. Aranda's a menace. It's just like they have a lot of menaces in their lineup. They just make you want to pull your hair out when you play.
They do. Yeah, you look at the game. Like, shit, they have like bases loaded again. But yeah,
that leads me to the next game. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, for me it's a pass on the bats, but I do like Robert Urena. He'll be kind of a heavy exposure for me on pitching.
Yeah, this leads me to our next game where I think I'm just going to get one of my pitchers from, and that's the Cubs on the road versus the Cardinals. Obviously, the Cardinals can pose some problems. Their righties, the Herrera, Walker in the middle of that lineup there. But I think Shota does enough to strike guys out to be serviceable in the spot. He's a fly ball pitcher. This is a park where it's more conducive to pitching as well. So I'm not super worried about him giving up the long. I mean, Jordan Walker's a menace. He can hit. Listen, I've seen him go opposite field. He's got so much raw power in his bat. It's amazing. He's got such a crazy swing with an effortless swing, really. But nevertheless, I'm not going to play him in this spot. Not going to play the Cardinals. I think Shota's definitely in play. Just look at the pitcher landscape. He's got to be a priority. He got blown up in his last start, which led to you winning that 100K. So I think you should go back to him now. Give him a very nice thank you for the 100K he gave you the other day. But
maybe he can win me 100K on the other side of things.
Yeah. So late, and this is where I just lamented about Pitchers Park Shota, but this is where I actually might get a good 5-man stack. And the Cubs have been slumping, and I understand that. It's Pitchers Park, I understand that. But Leahy is not good. The underlying suggests very bad. He's getting hit hard. Exit velo is really high. Walks a lot of guys, doesn't strike a lot of guys out. It's just absolutely Cub stack for me. They're good up and down. I'd love to see Kevin Alcantara in there. I just don't know if you will. But up and down, they hit and run. You can get a 5-man on the road. That's going to be a little bit more contrarian with Core's game. So I really like the Cubs. If you see me in the 888, the big tickets, the 121 single entry, it's likely I have a 5-man Cubs. So let's say give this an 8 confidence from my perspective that you're going to have pieces in this game that you want an optimal tournament winning team. So for me, Shota, Cubs all day. What you got?
Yeah, interesting. This is the same game. So I love what you're on. Shota's going to be probably the 1A for me. I like him more than Wheeler. Especially against Wheelers at the Dodgers, against the Dodgers, right? Like you can't love it. Shota's the number 1 pitcher on the slate. I don't think it's close. And I think the Cubs just smash. Like they've been slumping somewhat. Like they had an offensive explosion yesterday, but like, man, you can get creative with how they stack the lineup. They have a lot of good DFS and fantasy players. You can go back and stack with like, I love when they put PCA back into the order, and then you have like Swanson PCA.
Can I do that? Just let me jump in there with PCA. I watched the game the other day, and the guy's ripping the cover off the ball. It was just right, like he hit 3 balls, like 110 right to the first baseman, just right on, almost like if they land, it's a double, it's a triple, right? It's just right there. The guy is hitting the ball well. Just sometimes baseball is one of those sports you have to get a little bit of luck, right? If you hit the ball hard right to someone 3 times in a row, it's just 0 points. Like who cares if your exit velo was 110 miles an hour? It doesn't do anything for you. It's right to someone. So I totally agree, Taylor. And I think up and down their lineup, they just hit. So I think the Cardinals have been overperforming from a pitching standpoint. You're not going to get their back end bullpen. And in this game, I presume, I think you're going to get some bad bullpen on. So Cubs for me and you, I like the way on that.
Yeah, like I just play the guys that hit and run. Maybe Bush has been hitting the ball well. Like there's just so many good bats. I would love to have 6 or 7 Cubs in my lineup. I just feel like you can play
up and down. They're like a better version of way better version of the Guardians. I think the Guardians have a lot of professional hitters. I think the Cubs are a step above that, right? We're Braves fans, right? But like we don't have the same depth in our lineup, right? Dansby Swanson, he strikes out, but the guy batting the guy in the back of the lineup there, he can cause problems for sure. So.
Yeah, and I think you can play Carson Kelly too. He's like we saw last season, the offensive explosion. He's a guy you can throw in at catcher that you feel good about from an offensive.
Carson Kelly and Moises Ballesteros.
I don't think Ballesteros has not been playing. He's not been good.
Yeah, it's Ballesteros has been fine from a underlying standpoint. The problem is Conforto has been just as good underlying and producing actuals, right? So you're going to just get Conforto as the DH, right? And you're going to get most likely Kelly or Amaya in this catcher, which I like both of those guys a lot. So I'm glad we're on the same page here, which means we're going to win $0.
Yeah.
Collectively. Okay. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think the Cubs are absolutely play here. So let's go to the next game. We have Max Meyer at an absolutely astronomical price versus Freddie Peralta. Mets and Marlins. I talk about this all the time, but Freddie Peralta can be such a problem sometimes. He can be such a problem as far as, giving up hits and runs in bunches. And he's supposed to be some ace, but even in Milwaukee, I just never trusted him. There's something about his game where he can go 5 innings, 110 pitches, and just doesn't go deep enough. The underlines are fine. The problem is the Marlins have been pesky. This is just my opinion. I'm not playing Freddie Peralta tomorrow. He just won't make a big ticket team for me. I just can't do it. It sounds crazy, but if I was gonna pick a pitcher in this game to play at a higher price, it might just be Max Meyer. I kind of prefer the strikeout stuff. 27% K rate, 8% walk rate. Let's just contrast that with just like the surface level 24% K rate, 10% walk rate for Peralta. Just straight up, the Mets lineup is definitely better, but for me, it's Max Meyer all day. As far as a confidence pick, though, it's going to be another pass play. This game is a pass for me. You probably won't find me in a big ticket contest with either pitcher or bats from any side of this game in the Mets Stadium. Not going to play up for bats, so that's what I got. I mean, both pitchers are serviceable. I say Freddie Peralta get blown up, but blown up for him is like 4 or 5 runs. He has a bad game. You never see him get hit for 10. So, what about you?
Yeah, so I think somewhat I don't know if you remember this, but these two pitchers just played these two teams. Like, it was the matchup, Freddie Peralta against Max Meyer. Matt Meyer put up 32 fantasy points in that. He kind of just shoved against the Mets. I don't love when pitchers, their next starters against the same team they just faced. There's like, obviously you've seen his stuff. There's like, to me, I don't know what the data is on it, but I don't think it's hard to kind of produce those same results back-to-back starts.
I've looked that up before. It's really not good. It's like there's a small standard deviation below their previous start, just like pitchers mean. It makes sense, right? But I think it matters a little bit less with veteran pitchers because you've seen this guy 100 times already. You know his stuff, right? So I think
exactly.
I don't know if that's going to affect Peralta's as much as it affects Max Meyer. Maybe Peralta had a bad start. Maybe you can kind of change things up and fine-tune them, right? Everyone knows who Peralta is. Max Meyer, there's a little bit less film on him. You have a little bit less of an understanding of what he can do and his capabilities. So I think it's probably a tick up for the Mets saying that out loud, thinking about that.
But. It is, but like that would be, that's definitely contrarian build. I'm not playing the Mets or the Marlins at any like high dollar entry. I just don't feel like the pitchers are good enough and the bullpens are good enough here where it's like, I think they can kind of salt this game away and it's a low scoring 5-2, 4-3. And you don't want anything here. So for me, it's a complete pass, just given the prices of the pitchers and the bats opposing them. So I think it's an avoid spot for me for sure.
Yeah, pass play, pass once again. So let's go to the next game. And this is a game I've been wanting to play Detroit and find a spot where we can get back to them. And they're broken right now. Ever since Scuba went down, it's just like it hurt their offense for some reason. But you have the Tigers on the road versus the White Sox. Fetty, I think versus I was looking at this guy earlier, Troy Melton. I didn't have a lot of tape on him. I don't know what he's all about. Doesn't look special to me. That being said, I'm just like, I'm not playing guys against the White Sox. Talk about a pesky team. I just can't do it right now. So for me, pass, play, pass. If you want any insight in this game as far as like where I might lean, it's just going to be the Tigers in hopes that they kind of break out of this. I've been playing Coke Keith to my detriment because he's just a platoon bat at this point. I mean, his underlines were great to start the season. I thought he was a professional bat, but you can't do it. Dylan Ding Dong Dingler, you got to play him whenever you play Detroit, right? I think they played earlier today and they got beat on by the Angels, the pedestrian Angels. So, which is good for me. I mean, I bet the Angels. This is a segue, but I bet the Angels straight up today, plus money against the Tigers. Like, are you kidding me? I think they won like 7-1. The Tigers are broken right now. So yeah,
the Tigers are broken.
Free money. Oh, anyways, I just to wrap that up in a bow. You can't play either pitcher. If I was going to lean to bats, it would be Detroit. But Fetty's competent enough that he can work his way through lineups. I've seen him pitch, and I had a lot of best ball shares last year. He's really what you would say your standard arm in 4 or 5, and then 4 or 5 in the rotation. Yeah. When Shane Smith gets healthy and starts looking a little bit better, you're gonna see him come up and Fetty potentially not have a role. Maybe he's a bolt guy. Maybe he's a end of the bullpen arm. But I just think Fetty's eventually gonna get phased out. But for now, it's just gonna be a pass.
Yeah, interesting. I think so. The interesting thing for me is I think the vibes are bad in Detroit. Obviously, we know that. Everyone that watches baseball knows the vibes are bad in Detroit. I like the spot. I think Fetty's a guy that can give up. He's a guy that gives up like double-digit hits in a game and somehow like gets away with like 1 or 2 runs. So for me, it's like, I'm all aboard Detroit. I think this is a great contrarian spot. And I think even guys like Spencer Torkelson is really interesting. I want to see the lineup, but like Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, and Dylan Dingler is like kind of what I'm thinking of as like a 3-man stack. All those guys have home run, double dong upside. I don't even like saying that word, double dong up. I don't know.
I love Dylan Ding Dong Dingler. It just like rolls off the tongue so well. Dude, he's absolute.
When you're looking at catchers and I think like, a combo of like, Dylan Ding Dong Diggler, as Dylan says, or
can You can't even articulate. It's hard, right? So it's like
Dylan
like
Ding Dong
listen,
Dingler.
talk about hidden catches really quick. Remember the guy? This guy was one of my favorite batting hidden
Gaddis?
catchers. Oh, how did you know?
I know.
Right, what a great pull! I gave you no information.
Yeah.
I gave you no information, dude. Just absolutely bare hands, no batting gloves.
Dude,
just would hit, like he would strike out 40% of the time, but just like absolutely hit nukes.
They called him. Do you remember what they called him?
Oso Blanco? No, Oso Blanco.
Oso Blanco, the white bear.
Oso Blanco was the pre. He was so fun. What a funny thing that you record. I mean, that's what happens when you're twins sometimes. So you just like there's no reference for it.
I knew where you were going.
Yeah. Something led us to Evan Gaddis, but
I remember winning money on Evan Gaddis multiple times.
Yeah, he's the type of guy. Yeah, dude. You know who the sketchiest catcher I've ever won money on? It was just Martin Maldonado. Just terrible hitting catcher. But I remember one game I played him and he had like a stolen base and a home run. I was like, okay, sock in a shoe. Let's giddy up. I mean, I at 2% at 2K, he was always a terrible guy to play. But if you needed someone to fit your stack, but nevertheless, on this game, we're just gonna pass. I think both me and you. In the high dollar stuff, we're not gonna be here. Is that right?
I think Detroit is a good tournament play. I mean, I don't want to.
Okay. I agree with that.
Against Fetty in the White Sox Stadium, like I think vibes are bad, but there's gonna be a game where this is a spot against a subpar pitcher, and Fetty's a 4 or 5 in a rotation, if he's even a big leaguer at this point.
Yeah, I have coward fingers. I should tell someone would say like. My fingers have the same problem my head does. It's attached to you, dummy. But I can't push the button on the Tigers. You would never see me in an 8-8 playing the Tigers right now and the state of their offense. I just don't think they have a competent up and down. And that's the reason, we'll go back a few games, talk about the Cubs. Up and down, they can hit around. And what you need in baseball, you have to have a lineup turnover. Like if they score 4 runs, but it's just like a couple solo shots and they just turn over, it kills the upside. Yeah. So for me, and you're not going to see a low scoring slate on the core slate generally. So just going to be a pass for me. Excuse me. So now I have Royals in Texas facing the Rangers. I think I see Kolek on the mound, who I've been picking on to no avail, versus the Rangers. I don't have a TBD on StatCast, but I'm pretty sure it's Gore. Gore's broken. Gore's broken. I love the Royals and I love to play Royals. I don't like them against lefties and I don't like them in Arlington against the Rangers. For me, it's just going to be a pass. Pass here. I think I could pick on Kolek if anyone. The Rangers are broken right now too, right? They're just injuries up and down the lineup. I can't fathom playing them as a stack and anything high dollar. So if you had to ask me, gun in my head, who I'm going to play in this game, if I had to play someone, it's probably would be the Royals, just as a true fanboy and thinking they have a little more upside. Obviously, you have Michael and Bobby Wood at the top as righties to face Gore, but for the same breath, I think people might play Gore because they've seen the Royals struggle a little bit. I would never in a million years touch Gore in this spot. So for me, pass play, confidence you're going to need this game, a 1 at most. What do you have?
Yeah, again, every time we talk about a baseball slate and Kansas City's on the slate and the pitcher is not like an ace, I am considering them. And I think Gore is like the interesting thing about Gore is he's worse against lefties. And I think that's what I like here. I like Jack Hagg. I like Carter Jensen. I like Vinny P a little, but I don't love Vinny P. But like the interesting thing to do here is play the lefties because Gore historically is bad against lefties. And that's why I like this spot a little bit because I do think as long as Kansas City is smart and leaves their lefties in the lineup, I think they're a really interesting tournament play. Yeah. But dude, that is a tired beat for me because I do like Kansas City this season. And I'm somewhat, while the team is down, I'm still high on them. But this is like one of those spots, like on the road in Texas, Globe Life, historically, a good pitcher's park. But like park factor is like so, like over the course of the season, it results in like a home run or 2 more, like not significant outside of course. So I think Kansas City's in play. I think they're really interesting here. I don't know if they would get for them to get to my signature. I'd have to have some balls of steel, but I like them. I'll play some tournament style. Again, I think partly is because like Gore is a middle price pitcher and a lefty, and so like people are gonna shy away from the lefties. But I think those are the bats you want to target. So like, give me Jack Hagg, give me Carter Jensen, give me Vinny P here.
Yeah, I get it, but not for me. Gonna be a pass. In this next game, I'm gonna need you to pull some pitching because I see Crow on the bump for the Brewers. They're in Houston facing the Astros. I don't know much about Crow. I think he's pitched once. Coleman Crow. What a nice name, Coleman Crow. That's fine. Brewers 25th overall prospect. I don't see anything special here. A decent chase rate, K rate, riff rate, not very good, 17%. So for me, I probably won't go there. Who do you see on the bump for the Astros?
Yeah, you got a Crow versus a Tang.
A Crow versus a Tang. It sounds like
Yeah,
some Asian persuasion. I don't really know. I know Tang's pitched.
Highway Tang. He's been his last 2 starts 26 and 25 respective fantasy points. DraftKings fantasy points.
Just to be fair, I don't know much about him. Let me just pull him up.
Yeah, I don't know where he played outside prior to coming to this, and maybe he's been in Houston, but I don't know much about him. While you look that up, like, did you find it?
Conway, it's okay. His strikeout rate's nothing special. Doesn't project to be anything great. Nothing popping off the page. Really looks middling based on the underlyings on Baseball Survivor. Yeah, I don't think I will go there as far as playing a pitcher. In the same breath, I won't play the Astros. I won't play the Astros or the Brewers. You hear me say a lot of don't, but I have to isolate it. And for me, I won't go there. I think the Astros, although their bullpen struggled, Tang's been pretty good lately. He looks like a middling pitcher, so I don't think I'll play him against the Brewers. But in the same breath, I won't play the Brewers against him. Once again, if you force me to play a spot, it would probably be Crow, because I think the Astros are a little overrated. I think outside of Jordan, it's nothing special there. Although Crow's not been very good. Decently. I mean, showed decent numbers in the minors. Just not a high strikeout guy, so I just really can't trust them all too much. But gun to head would be Crow from the Brewers as the priority. None of these guys making my priority list tomorrow, though. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Houston guy, too. I don't hate a 3-man Houston stack like Isaac Paredes, Christian Walker, Jordan Alvarez. Jordan Alvarez is the best hitter in baseball right now. I don't think it's close, particularly close. I think, yeah,
James Wood would like a word with you.
Yeah, James Wood strikes out too much. Jordan doesn't. His play discipline, James Wood still has his swing. His swing decision is still not great. But he's a beast. And he's a little younger than Jordan. But Jordan Alvarez is the best. If you're hey, I think it's just easy to play him in this spot. I think he'll go under-owned on a larger slate.
I would like James Wood to start playing a different position and stop robbing home runs.
I know.
A 7-foot dinosaur out there.
Dude, he stole a couple grand from me yesterday, probably.
He doesn't even jump. He just reaches up 2 feet to the stands. He's just there, robbing home runs. Lozada was his latest victim. It breaks my heart.
Yeah, which sucks. I think Houston bats are in play, Dylan. This young kid, I think Tang is somewhat interesting given what we've seen in his last 2 starts. Milwaukee's pesky. Milwaukee's healthy though, so I'm gonna avoid that. Milwaukee, once they're now that they're their lineup is kind of full strength, it's pretty scary, honestly, and they hit and run, and Tang's gonna be in trouble. But I'm not gonna. I think it's I think they kind of push each other, so it's a pass there. But I think Houston is someone in play. You can get a creative 3-man stack. I won't do more than that. I just don't think Houston has the offensive firepower to really win you the slate. But you have a couple pieces that could be valuable. Out of 24 teams. So
because I'm a fish, let's get to the next game where I'm absolutely going to have a huge stack in. We have the Giants on the road versus the Fighting John Denvers of Colorado Rockies. But I'll play the Giants here. You just have to. And there's guys in the back end I really like. Obviously, Bryce Elder's a prospect, came up, hitting the ball, hitting the cover off the ball there. Casey Smith's been good. But if they have either of those catchers, Susak or Jesus Rodriguez in the lineup, going to play them. Absolutely. That's probably where I'll get my catcher from. As far as the Rockies, I won't be playing the Rockies against Logan Webb coming off the IL. I know they're fine. I know he's going to be, limited a little bit. And I know Logan Webb is due to getting BABIP occasionally. It'll just be passed, right? I'll focus on the Giants, focus exposure on the Giants. Love that they're on the road in Denver. And maybe you'll get a little bit lower ownership, although it is a Coors game, just because the Giants are just probably a bottom 3 team in all of baseball. As far as priority in this game, it's going to be a 9 for me. I think you're going to have pieces in this game you need to have. I just think all the upside, right? In Coors, you have these guys hitting the ball really hard. The Giants go from one of the worst hitting parks in baseball to one of the best. So I think you're going to see some balls that wouldn't obviously get out in their home park get out here. So I really like the upside of a lot of these bats. And to be fair, I haven't checked the pricing yet. Just kind of formulating who I'm going to like and build stacks around the pricing. But the Giants are absolutely a top 2 or 3 priority stack for me outside of the Cubs. So what are your thoughts on this game? It's just going to be a fade Coors because Taylor takes this strategy a lot, and I totally respect it. Whenever Coors on the slate, he's like, I'm going to X out if there's a possibility to X out. And this is, if you want to do it, this is a great time to do it because these are 2 bad teams, right? The Giants and the Rockies are both bad teams. So you could totally see this game going under and not be surprised and a lot of ownership flocking there. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so the initial take, so definitely not going to play Colorado against Logan Webb was just ground ball. We've talked for an hour about him before, so I think we don't need to rehash that. But yeah, he's a ground ball pitcher. I don't like Colorado here. I guess they are somewhat of a tournament play here because Logan Webb is still like Logan Webb. He's still like a semi-ace. With that said, the issue I have for San Francisco is they like to pinch hit their guys. So it's like if they're up big, those guys won't continue to hit. And like even when the game is close, they like to
only. And that was so with Tony Vitello, like it's a little bit different this year, and they do it with some guys, but guys like Bryce Eldridge, you're not going to see that. Obviously, you're not going to see that with Devers. Matt Chapman. I just think you're going to see that less this year. The back end guys, maybe you see that more with Bader, with Brendan, with Gilbert. The guys with those cloths. There's more bats in that lineup are just going to stay in that lineup if they're start there. Yeah, and part of the impetus for that is Lorenzen is. Let me jump in. Like Lorenzen is a righty, and a lot of the best bullpen arms for the Rockies are righties too. So I think if you kind of see the starting lineup and you get a lot of those platoon guys in there and the lefties, you're probably going to see them stay most of the game. So understand your thoughts there, and the fade makes sense just purely because it's going to be played more than it should be because it's cores and it's overplayed generally. But I think to the counter to that might be that we might see a little bit lower ownership. Like Casey Smith has been the Giants' best hitter. For me, it's just going to be fade him because he's going to pull maybe 20% of the ownership from the Giants total. So just like I say this all the time, build the stack and you're like, okay, this is a chalky stack. How do you get different with a chalky stack? You play the bats that are not as chalky, right? I'm not an advocate for just playing guys that are bad batters, right? But there's good batters in that lineup. Bryce Eldridge, Susuk's been good at catcher. Jesus has been fine as a catcher there too. Bader's obviously been good. You'll probably see him bat a little bit higher, and he'll probably be a little higher owned. But get guys that are going to be lower owned in the stack that you like. So for me, Giants all day. I think you're a little bit less sour on them, and there's other teams you can play in the slate. So I totally get your perspective. But I'm going to play. You could totally see tomorrow just me being a five Cubs, 3 Giants, and just going the standard 5-3 build. For me, the difficult thing is just be finding pitchers. So,
I think the next game is probably like we're a lot. I think it's like mini cores. Obviously, you know who we're talking about, but there will be a lot of ownership there, maybe more than
I see it. Mini cores. So I'm going to the game now. You're referencing the Yankees in the Athletic Sutter Health Field or Sutter Health Park. I don't know, is it field or park? Who cares? But I understand. I understand what you're saying here, but I respect both pitchers enough. They're both serviceable enough where I'm just not going to play batters in this game. If I was going to stack a side, it would be the Yankees. I think the bottom half of the A's lineup is just sluggish at the moment. Butler's not even a full-time player, which breaks my heart right now. I really hope he finds it second half of the season, turns it on, but he's not even playing ball. He wouldn't be in the lineup against the lefty anyways. And in the same breath, you can't play Rodon. He's just not been good. Right? He's not trustworthy in this park. I don't know how you play him. The thing for me, though, if I really wanted to play someone like Rodon is just look at his strikeout rate. Everything looks fine there. Chase rate, whiff rate, everything looks good. Walk rate, terrible. But can he get control of that and work his way through this offense? I think he might. So Rodon's on the short list of pitchers for me just because pitchers so damn weak tomorrow. But I don't have a priority in this game. If you're playing basketball in this game, I understand you're playing in the park. But for me, I have no good feeling about stacking against Severino or Rodon.
Yeah, well, Severino's just like he's hit or miss, and I think this is a spot where like the Yankees I think they're probably the best offensive spot. This is like the quintessential Judge puts up 40 points, and you have to have him to like not place your team, but to win the slate. And there's just a good combination of hit and steal guys. And Severino, like at his best, we saw him in like the what is the World Series? What is that? No, this is when we saw him play for the World Baseball Classic. The Dominican Republic. But the Yankees are such a good play here. You can get creative with how you stack them. I want to see their lineup, but I think Judge is singularly the best player in the slate. I think you should play him in your lineup. I just feel like he hits at least one home run against Severino, and then probably it just feels like an explosion spot. He's starting to heat up again. Like he's kind of been slumping a little bit. Slumping for Judge is crazy because he has 17 home runs. But I think it's interesting. I think this will be a priority stand for me. And I think cores will draw more ownership, but when you look at the slate in its entirety, I think and you don't want to lean too heavily in the odds, but I think this is like the second best odds, just with most runs. And I do feel like
it's because like the Yankees always carry that on their backpack with them. And listen, for some reason, I don't know why Severino reminds me so much of Michael Pineda, like it's just so much. But his underlines are fine. And just the more I think about it, like, and just looking at pictures, I might just play Rodon. If what you're saying, this game carries a little bit more ownership as far as bats go because the total's a little bit higher, I think I just might play Rodon. I think I could see the lefty getting some lefty outs. I mean, obviously I'm scared of Kurtz and Langoliers, but outside of that, who's been good on this team? Who's been good for the Athletics outside of Kurtz and Langoliers?
It's
No,
not.
I'm generally asking. Like, I don't know, right? I don't think.
Yeah,
like I said that in jest, but like
Cortez.
Cortez. He's a fine another lefty, right? Horn's brother. We know he's been bad. Soderstrom. It's just like for me, it's definitely gonna be. I think Rodon. I'm on stream. I'm talking myself into just playing Rodon. I think he's gonna be the guy I play.
Yeah, but who was the pitcher earlier that like at 7-7 that I think is just Walbert Urena to me is just easier, a better play. I think straight up over and not though there's an argument to be at 7-7 Rodon or 7-4 Walbert Urena. That's tough, dude. I think you gotta pick your poison there. I like both guys though. That is a good SP2. I think we're both going Shota up top. I think he's an easy SP1. But yeah, I think New York for me is the priority play in the slate. I think they will be probably a stand. I'll have a Yankee on every team. And I'm always like a guy that doesn't like to play the Yankees because I'm like they carry, inert ownership because of who they are. It's like there's so many Yankees fans. It's the Yankees, right? It's like people are always kind of drawn to that team. But I like them a lot.
That's interesting. You can have a Yankee on every team. I lead very much different. I don't think a Yankee will make any of my builds.
Yeah.
So
the Caesar party.
The Caesar party. I mean, listen, we disagree on a lot, but I try to respectfully disagree and say I don't prefer them. But let's go to. I think we have 2 games left. The second last is the Diamondbacks facing the Mariners. Another great pitchers park, but another pitchers I do not trust in Zach Gallen and George Kirby. I think they're both serviceable. Where you're not going to want to stack either team, but how do you have confidence in playing either of these guys right now?
Yeah.
They're just not. They're not throwing the rock. They're not throwing the rock. They're just not. It's just like Zach Gallen's a guy that have a lot of best ball shares because I thought he'd be serviceable. He just hasn't been. And same from Kurt. I don't know what's going on with the Seattle rotation, but those guys have been a cut below they were last year. I just don't really understand what's going on there. But obviously, pitchers park. If you told me either of these guys was in the optimal team tomorrow, wouldn't be surprised one bit. So for me, it's going to be pass play, and this is another pass game. If I had to pluck someone out of the ether to play, it's going to be Kirby or Gallen. If you made me choose, it'd just be Kirby. The top of the card. I mean, the top of the Diamondbacks line is good, but the bottom half is just a bunch of guys at best. They're just guys. So I totally understand if I see Kirby on the winner, but other than this, pass me. What you got?
Yeah, this is a pass all around. I'm not going to play either pitcher. I guess Kirby, as in plays, improving somewhat. He's still tinkering with his pitches too much. So it's not for me. I think the Arizona offense is probably a little better right now. They're both teams are kind of like I gotta have to have a soft spot for Seattle. They won me 100K, but like that is just because I'm not going to play. I don't love them at home. I don't love this park for offenses. And I think both pitchers are okay, like good enough to like survive, but not like good enough to win you the slate at pitching or not lose the slate at pitching. So yeah, it's a pass game altogether for me.
All right. Last game of the slate. This is where obviously I think, are we going to get an ace performance of Zach Wheeler? Phillies in LA facing the Dodgers, a great matchup. But so we have Wheeler on the bump, and we have Robleski on the bump for the Dodgers. Robleski's a guy you can see a Philly stack winning the tournament tomorrow. Robleski's absolute panda. He's a trash panda, but he's been getting away with it. He's been taking your trash and running away and never getting caught. Someone needs to set a trap because the Phillies can set that trap, but I also don't trust the Phillies bats. They're up and down. They're untrustworthy. They're just guys that you can play Schwarber. Schwarber hits 2 home runs, but no one else does anything else. Like I just don't trust that. And I go back and forth. Is the Dodgers a good hitting park? Is the hitting park just good because the Dodgers play there?
No, it is a good hitting park. And I think they're on the road. You made a good point about Philly, but this is more like a small entry, like small dollar entry, like a $15 tournament team to try to win try to like differentiate up top. I like it doing, but it's just not like it wouldn't be a priority play for me for sure.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't think it should be, right? Based on what you see, like just Robleski is not great, and he can't keep getting away with this. But the Dodgers pen is fine, and because of that, it's like you don't want to get unlucky against Robleski once again, and then fall at the mercy of just the BABIP king, and then just you do nothing with your stack. And late night hammer, people for whatever reason don't like to stack the late game, so I could totally see this game having bats. You can see the Phillies winning 9-1, something like that, and you're like, well, I need this game. But for me, I want to play Wheeler as a safety play, but just in his underlines are great. Everything's great. But this is the Dodgers, right? Can I trust Wheeler against the Dodgers? I just don't know if I can. So I just don't know if he's going to be in play for me. He should be, right? He should be on the list. He's going to be on the list. I just don't know who I'm playing over him either. So there's a lot to be worked out tomorrow. But as far as the best pitchers on the slate, he is the best pitcher. It's just not the best matchup. So
Agreed.
Do that with that what you will. But for me, it's just going to be a Philly stack as the priority. Wheeler is kind of the secondary option potentially. I just don't know if I can even get there. The Dodgers bats for me are in play because they're the Dodgers, and Wheeler's going to be probably the highest owned, if I had to guess, as of now. So the Dodgers could be played. Zach Wheeler can get hit. So any pitcher on tomorrow's slate, it wouldn't be shocking if any pitcher is just gas can tomorrow. There's no guy sticking out. So
yeah, I just don't think this game produces enough. Like it could, right? It's like the offenses both have like good pieces that you could stack together. Trey Turner's heating up, Saka is shooting back-to-back games. Then you have like obviously Kyle Schwarber, who's always like a candidate to hit multiple home runs. Bryce Harper too. He walks a lot, which is like, a solid floor. I mean, he can hit home runs as well. But yeah, I think that Phillies are definitely in play against Robleski. I think the numbers suggest that he's actually like well overperformed. Outside that, I won't play the Dodgers. I just feel like there's too many spots on a 12-game slate. So
tomorrow's a pure example of like a slate where I build. Usually I go pitcher first and then build around. Tomorrow's a slate where I go bats first. I build my stacks, and this is like, once again, we're hand in the dirt build as far as the high dollar entries, and I will build my stacks and then see what pitchers I can get from that point. I won't have a priority. I'm not going to play gas can pitchers, but I'm going to build my stacks and see what I can play around it, because there's no confidence in any pitcher tomorrow, and that's just the feeling I have. So yeah. But thanks for tuning in. Taylor, you got anything else to add?
No, yeah, let's go. We got some golf sweat, so we'll be watching some golf this weekend. Are we gonna do?
I don't know if we're gonna do Macau. I just don't know. Okay. Like if we have time to jump on, we'll do Macau. And I have some thoughts on some of the fights. Maybe we'll jump on it. If I jump on, I'm gonna do all the fights. So
yeah, I feel bad. The slate we've won, that we spent all the money and we haven't done a stream for, which is sad. We're not doing that on purpose. We're not like, hey, this is the best spot.
Listen, you make stands, right? So I think the best thing we do is just make stands, right? We are one thing. We are psychotically emboldened our takes for good or bad, right? Once again, I showed you the underdog ownership of 82%.
I have pretty much Jackson Merrill. I have two.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I mean the psychotic nature of Jordan Walker, because Jordan Walker could be sent down, but I have 82% of him in best ball. That's 57 teams. I mean, that's $700+ worth of Jordan Walker, and he could have easily been horrible this year. He could have easily been Lawrence Butler in a platoon role being sent down, right? So we take psychotic stands, and you took a psychotic stand in a slate that won you 100K. So just make stands, stick to your guns, and I'm going to be here breaking down best I can, just what I'm seeing. But listen, if you have a lean, if you have a thought, lean into that. If you're like, hey, I'm seeing this. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I want to play that. Just be convicted in what you do. Don't middle it. When you middle everything, this guy's good. This guy's good. Don't middle it. You'll lose.
Yeah, I'd rather be give me last, 100 times, and then
give me last and then first, because you middle it.
DFS is about.
It's not the game for you. It's about highs and lows, baby. And that 100K was a nice high. Listen, I hate that you won 100 after I won 16. It's like it broke my heart in the sense of like, good for you, but like 16 was such a nice week for me. Just like clean the single entry out. 16K. I think that was Wednesday, and would you hit the 100K on a Friday? Or Saturday, I think it was.
I think it was Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, just so break my heart, but also good for you. But anywho, we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow, probably to break down Saturday. Until then, good luck.
Good luck, folks. Dylan, let's